Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Well, we got a jam-packed, action-filled show for you today. Just so much going on. It's Sophie's choice. What do you get to pick? Well, who stands out?
We'll just have to talk real fast today.
Yeah. And jam probably 16, maybe 17 minutes of sheer, unadulterated entertainment into just 2 hours.
Don't let your mouth write checks that your butt can't cash. You're promising the audience 16 minutes of content.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I promised.
Okay, that's what I thought. See, backtracking begins.
I don't know if I promised. What, do you want a ring? 888-900.
Yeah, please.
888-900-3393. Give you a promise ring?
Promise ring, yeah.
You ever met anybody that had a promise ring? Mm-hmm. What does that mean, really? Mm-hmm. So it's like an engagement ring for kids or something.
No, it's an engagement to the engagement ring.
It's like I promise that I'm gonna someday
save up my money.
Take this seriously.
Yeah, save up my money so I can buy a ring. And then I will propose.
I'd like to know how many promise rings worked out and turned into, engagement rings.
Is that like a bookmark?
Wedding rings.
Like, let's say you graduate high school and one goes one way to college and one goes the other. Mm-hmm. And they're just like, I'll be back. Here's a promise ring. Is that what that kind of is?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
That's brilliant.
I don't know if anybody does that anymore.
I've seen them.
Have you?
Yeah. I can't think off the top of my head, but I've run across those. Yeah.
This is fascinating. The Democrats are trying to turn around the defund the police thing on Republicans. It's fascinating to see the just outrageous, bald-faced lies they're telling. They are saying that they're the ones who are trying to refund the police. It's Republicans who have defunded the police. Michael Dukakis has even spoken out about this.
Oh,
you might
still
remember
alive?
Michael Dukakis from a lifetime ago.
Oh, man, I wish we knew he was coming up because we could have had him crawling out of that tank or whatever it was. Yeah.
For the 1988 campaign. Yeah. So that kind of crushed his hopes of winning, it seems like, the little dumb picture of him in the tank.
Uh-huh.
And now he's warning his party not to make the same mistake. The defund the police movement is nuts, he said. He said, I'm saying to myself, my God, what the hell is going on here? Right. Exactly, Mike. Thanks for joining us here in the real world. It's interesting because some of these old school Democrats have to be just shocked at what's going on in their party. They have to be, and they just probably keep it to themselves. But the Michael Dukakises, I'd like to hear Richard Gephardt. What does he have to say right now? He said, on one hand, you have folks screaming and yelling about getting rid of policing, which makes no sense at all. And then on the other hand, you have some people totally misinterpreting what community policing is, just as we were really making huge progress. He's, by the way, he's 87 years old.
Wow. And by
87.
By the way, Mike, the people screaming that the police need to be defunded and completely just removed from cities, that's your party.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. And I think that's what is prompting him to speak out, because he doesn't want his party to lose. But asked if he thinks Biden strikes the correct balance, Dukakis said, I think he gets it and understands it. I'm not sure he, and for that matter, my party, is articulating it very well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're sure not.
Well, they articulated defund the police pretty well.
They sure did. It was they who were saying it the whole time. It was all Democrats. There wasn't a single Republican saying, yeah, defund the police. Nobody in the Republican Party said that.
This was a setup.
Yeah.
This was a setup done to perfection by the Democrats. Create the problem, back the violence in the streets and the getting rid of cops, and then slip into a bill, some money for police agencies?
That maybe could be used?
Maybe.
Which wasn't, it's the local municipalities that decide that. It's not the federal government. So it might not even wound up with the police. But They had this $1.9 trillion bill, and you expected Republicans to vote for that with all the pork that was in it? No, I'm sorry. That you can't let that stand. Republicans have to be better at defining themselves and their policies and why they do the things they do, and why they voted no against that stupid bill. It's agonizing. They're just so terrible at PR. Just so awful. I don't think you could be any worse. I really don't. It's just Republicans, and it's interesting because Democrats always say it's Republicans who articulate things, and it's the complete opposite.
Oh, yeah.
It's the absolute opposite. Dukakis also said, I come from greater Boston where the homicide rate is 1/6 of the homicide rate in Houston. They have the death penalty and we don't. Don't you think I should have done something? Kind of used that? Well, shame on me. I didn't. And we had a story to tell.
Oh. So wait a minute. So the poor guy is reliving 1988.
He is, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he is. Amazing. Dukakis is razor sharp, even at 87. Still able to recall crime figures from years ago. He does so in the service of his argument that debates over policing are often too binary and simplistic. The choices are not softness or toughness on crime, he said. You need active police presence, but led by police officers who are well-trained and who understand how you effectively and constructively and appropriately work with communities.
I love that. He's still sharp. He's spitting out all of these stats from 3 decades ago. Yeah, that's because he's been bitter for 3 decades and he's been reliving the campaign. And so he knows all these facts that he should have used.
It's also something you can't say about the current president. Mm-hmm. He's not razor sharp.
No.
And he can't spit out numbers at all. And when he tries,
that saves
this happens.
billions of gallons of gasoline.
Billions of gallons?
Billions of
billions of
I think it's $2.3 billion
dollars
worth of, $500 billion in savings.
500
and 2
billion.
point something billion metric tons of CO2 going in the air.
Okay. So that's perfectly clear now. Talk about razor sharp.
Now you got it.
Ooh-wee. All right. We got this from Pathead ballistic virus missile. Mm-hmm, the ballistic virus missile. Wanted to make sure we celebrated today's Google Doodle. That is so interesting because I just saw it before the show, and I thought, we should talk about the Google Doodle because it's another weird one. I mean, they're all obscure people or events, and then they don't recognize Easter or Christmas.
Yeah, but today's Google Doodle is very important, is it not?
Very important. It's Pedro Linares Lopez. Yeah. So Pedro was a Mexican artisan born in Mexico City and the creator of the paper mache figurines named Alebres.
Yeah, you got it.
Alebres.
In other words, he's not even famous for inventing the style of paper mache. No, it's the obscure figurines made with paper mache. Let's do that one, Google.
Amazing. And he's been gone since 1992. He was born in 1906, lived to January 26, 1992. But we're celebrating him today. So,
and that's Pedro Linares
Lopez.
Okay, well, what are you going to do to celebrate paper mache figurines named Albrijes Day?
I'm going to go get a whole bunch of paper mache figurines.
You going to make them or buy them?
I'm going to buy them.
What do you buy pre-made paper mache figurines?
I got a secret place, and I don't want you to know about it because I don't want you to get there before me and buy up all the paper mache figurines. So I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you where I go for.
Wow, that hurts. Well, maybe you can deck out your desk tomorrow with just these
maybe. If I remember
figurines named Albrijes.
If I remember to bring them in, I will do that.
Yeah, you will.
Also, Pathead Anthony says, sure, it costs around $100 to fill up his tank. He's got a photo of it. There it is. $94.70.
No, thank you.
Ooh-wee.
30-gallon tank, huh?
Yeah, but there's no more mean tweets going around from our president.
Oh, well, that's good.
So, yeah, it's worth it.
That makes it worth. Yeah, I'd do a trade-off there. Yep.
Must be filling up an SUV there or a really big truck.
How many gallons does your vehicle hold?
20, almost 21.
Yeah. Isn't it fun going to the gas station these days?
No.
Love it.
No, it's not. It's really not. It's like 70. I think last time I filled up it was $72 for mine. And I don't have an it's just a sedan. It's a 4-door sedan.
What a nightmare we're living.
It's a nightmare.
And how many months in are we?
Too many.
Okay.
Too many.
Not enough.
Or not enough. Yeah.
But
too many because he's done so much.
Yeah.
Not enough because we wish it was over.
We wish it were over. Mm-hmm. So some help's on the way, though, right? Jen Psaki was telling us yesterday that,
electric vehicles.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, this would be good because they're going to make gas so expensive we can't buy it anymore. So you're going to have electric vehicles. And then what are you going to do with all those big fat batteries that are so bad for the environment? That'll be a fun time, too, when we start dumping those into landfills.
Liberals never want you to take their arguments to the next step.
Yeah, I know.
Don't get to the conclusion.
I know. Don't get to our unintended consequences of the electric vehicle. The earth-killing batteries that we have to put in these things. And then eventually those are going to wind up somewhere. Where? We're going to shoot them into space? What are you going to do with that? Those things are not going to be environmentally friendly. Yeah. I promise you that.
Is anybody on Saturn? Is there anybody using that planet right now?
Not that I know of.
Could we just haul all of our batteries and junk and garbage? You're so concerned about
Saturn.
Earth. Yeah, let's just go.
And it's a huge planet.
Just dump it.
What do we care?
Just dump it.
Nobody lives there that we know of. Mm-hmm. And it's gigantic. It's way bigger than Earth. They could afford some, refuge.
Yeah, like, on Saturday mornings, it's like, hey, I'm going to the dump. You got anything, put it in the truck. Mm-hmm. Be like, hey, I'm going to Saturn. I'm going to go and drop off some garbage.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Plus, it's a big gas giant, so it doesn't even land anywhere.
Let's do this.
It would just burn up in their atmosphere.
So why haven't we started this yet?
This is a genius idea.
Thank you,
Keith. It's a genius idea.
Wow. I appreciate you saying that.
Meantime, Jen Psaki talking about the electric vehicle charging stations that are going to be needed.
People across the country and people who care deeply about addressing our climate crisis know the components of what's in this package, which the president considers a down payment, not the end, a down payment. So 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations nationwide. That's what this would help support, with a focus on our highways and rural and disadvantaged communities. It would help buy more than 35,000 electric school buses.
Wow.
Help.
Wow.
Help.
500,000.
So was that 10,000 per state?
I guess.
Sure.
That would be the average. Yeah.
Oh, no. And for disadvantaged and rural communities, because Farmer Ed and his all-electric pickup truck out there on the farm, he needs access to an electric charger.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. You know how many fueling stations there are for gas powered engines? 150,000. 150,000. Huh. So we're going to have 500,000 charging stations for these electric vehicles. All right. And those are going to be powered by what exactly? What are they powered by? Pixie dust? Solar? Wind? No.
Diesel. Somebody was saying, yeah. Electric school buses? She just said electric school buses.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you come and pick up your kid? The school bus broke down. Well, we forgot to charge it before the route. These people are nuts.
Yeah, they're destroying America. Is what they're doing. And at a pretty fast clip, too. Psaki was also asked about the Olympian, Gwen Berry. Oh, she's... What a wonderful person she is, isn't she?
We're going with wonderful.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're going with. She said that the national anthem scrutiny proves two things.
Okay.
It shows that, one, people in America rally patriotism over basic morality. Okay?
Okay.
And number 2, even after the murder of George Floyd and so many others, the commercials, statements, and phony sentiments regarding black lives were just a hoax.
Oh, can we lose the hammer toss event already?
Jeez.
Who cares? No one's cared about that event forever. And then she comes along and ruins it. And now it's like, wait, why do we even have this now?
She thanked those who did come to her defense. I never hated this country. People put words in my mouth, but they can't. That's why I speak out. I love my people.
Oh.
Well, what does that mean? You love your people? You love Americans or you love just black people? Because that wasn't the question. Do you love the country? You can't love the country and do that. I'm sorry. That shows your distaste for the United States of America. It's ugliness, and it's really a shame that she's one of the people that are going to represent this country. Now, when you're representing the United States of America, I say you can't act like that. We don't. I mean, Jen Psaki supported her. Here's what Psaki said about Gwen Berry.
States as an Olympian on the hammer throwing events.
Hammer throw.
Won a bronze medal at the trials, and then she turned her back on the flag while the anthem played. Does President Biden think that is appropriate behavior for someone who hopes to represent Team USA?
Good question.
Well,
Thank you.
Peter, I haven't spoken to the president specifically about this, but I know he's incredibly proud to be an American and has great respect for the anthem and all that it represents, especially for our men and women serving in uniform all around the world. Right. He would also say, of course, that part of that pride in our country means recognizing there are moments where we are, as a country, haven't lived up to our highest ideals. And it means respecting the right of people granted to them in the Constitution to peacefully protest.
No, it wasn't whether or not she has a right to do what she did. Is it appropriate at that moment? And does she have a right when she's representing the United States of America? To me, the answer is no. If you want to do that, go do that on your own time, not U.S. Olympic team time. This is the United States of America Olympic team. And if that's the way you feel about America, I'm sorry, you can't be on the team.
Yeah. If you have an issue with America's past, you don't use the podium at the Olympics.
Nope. Completely inappropriate, completely wrong. And the whole answer from Psaki was just garbage, as always.
Yeah.
You know, as always.
I love this tweet from somebody in relation to this. Athletics isn't equitable. Cancel the Olympics as it's macroaggression on non-athletic people. I love that. Let's all unite behind that.
Yeah, sports. You can't get into equity in sports because it's merit based. You know, it's like Team USA on the basketball court. There's a big controversy now with Jalen Rose. I don't know. One of the ESPN commentators said that Kevin Love being on the basketball team. Kevin Love is white. It was tokenism. That's why he's on the USA basketball team.
Oh.
He's the token white person on the team. Is he? Well, okay. Like if 17 out of the 18, I don't know how many players they field, probably up to 20 maybe. If 19 out of the 20 are black, what is that? That's merit-based, right? That's not racism. It's merit-based. Sports is merit-based. If you can help the United States team win, they want you on the team. Except for the one token guy.
That is hysterical.
I mean, people are pissed, though. People are pissed.
They're pissed that they put a white guy on there, or that he said that?
That he said that.
Okay. I mean, I don't know anymore.
I'm pissed that they put a white guy
right.
on there.
That's like, wait. I need to see this roster.
And I think he's the only white person on the team, which is amazing. Wow. I mean, why can't white people play basketball anymore? What is the deal there? Unless you're from Europe. Then you can, I guess. Like this Luka Doncic here in Dallas. He's awesome. But he's from Serbia. Where are the American white guys playing? There aren't any, except for Kevin Love. Do you have the team? Did they have?
Yeah, but they don't have pictures next to him. So, and I don't follow the NBA close enough to to know the names off the top of my head. But, How about those Hawks, by the way? You've been watching the NBA, haven't you?
Not really. Since the Jazz lost, I haven't paid much attention to it. But what are the Hawks are in the Eastern Conference Finals, right?
Yeah, from a 10 seed to the Eastern Conference Finals.
That's pretty great.
In the last couple of months, miraculous run for them.
And are they?
They're down 2-1 to the Bucks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is
Trae Young.
Trae Young hurt?
He stepped on
his
a
ankle
stupid
or something,
official
right?
was under his foot. And so now he's hurt and may not play tonight and just whatever.
It's going to be tough without him, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, let me take a minute and tell you about Patriot Mobile. This time of year, we celebrate our independence and the values that make America great. Now more than ever, it's important to support companies like Patriot Mobile, who not only share our beliefs, but stand behind them with action. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless carrier, and they donate a portion of every dollar to organizations that fight for causes you and I care about. Right now, they have 2 great offers you can choose from. Either get 50% off your first 2 months or $100 off any phone. Both come with free Premier activation. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Pat for all the details. Patriot Mobile has the broadest nationwide coverage. Use the same towers as the major providers, so you get great service for less money. And they make switching really easy for you. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Pat or call their top-rated U.S.-based team at 972-PATRIOT. 972-PATRIOT. We need to stick together and support companies that speak the truth and that stand for our values. Patriot Mobile is that company. patriotmobile.com/Pat. That's patriotmobile.com/Pat.
Pat Gray, Unleashed.
Thank you, U.S. Supreme Court, with another great ruling. They decided not to hear the case of the transgendered boy who wants to use the bathrooms that correspond to his gender identity, not his actual gender. That's a victory again. Yet another one for the LGBTQIA2 plus community. Don't go against them. You can't win. You can't win. They've been fearful the high court would take up the case and reverse a lower court opinion. They did not. The case concerns the scope of Title IX that prohibits schools from discriminating on the basis of sex. It began when Gavin Grimm, a transgender male who was then a high school student, because this was clear back in 2016, I believe. But Gavin challenged the local school board's decision to require him to use either a unisex restroom or a restroom that corresponds to the sex female he was assigned at birth. So it seems reasonable to me. You could either do this or you could do that. It's your choice.
Did you use the word reasonable?
Yeah.
No,
not reasonable to ask him to use a unisex bathroom?
Leave your reasonable at the door.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, he felt uncomfortable or...
Did he?
Lonely in the bathroom, I guess. In the unisex
I need some
bathroom,
friends in here.
Yeah, he was too lonely in the unisex bathroom and made him feel isolated. How together do you want to feel in the bathroom? Right? I mean, I don't want a crowd in the bathroom with me. Do most people? You like a crowd when you go into the bathroom?
No, I'm good.
No, I'd love to have just my own little bathroom where only I can go. That's great. And then I don't have to put up with other people's ickiness.
Hold on.
That'd be great.
Let's do that. Let's tell our employer that we're trans and we need a special bathroom all to ourselves.
A special unisex bathroom. Just mine. It's just mine.
Wait.
Or you can go and be in the bathroom with the girls or the locker room with the girls. And that wasn't good enough for
If you have more than one person claiming this inside one building, then would you have to share the building with that other person? So I think I'm not sharing. So I'm gonna actually be the first one to put in that request. Here in the Blaze
building.
building.
We'll have to take you to the Supreme Court, who will not hear it, and they'll just let the lower court decision stand. That's what will happen. So, what cowards? I guess Clarence Thomas and Sam Alito were the only two that wanted to hear it. They wanted to take it up and thought it was important. And it is. It is. I don't understand why, and apparently this person has had chest surgery. They've had the hormone therapy. They've had all these things done. But as far as I know, they still haven't had surgery to replace what God gave them. So they're, biologically, physically, this boy is actually a girl going into the boys' locker rooms. Now, to me, that's not as scary as the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, I don't know that a female could enforce their will on the boys like boys could enforce their will with girls. And it could get a lot uglier, I think, with boys in a girls' locker room. And maybe that's just really old-fashioned of me, and I completely out of my head on that. But should the boys be any less comfortable with a girl in there who's got girl parts? Why do they not matter at all? I don't understand this. Why do the other people in this school not matter? Their comfort level isn't taken into consideration at all here. How can that be? How can it be that only the transgender person's feelings matter? How is that possible? I don't understand it.
You got to be careful, though, because you're starting to try to make sense.
I am.
And
I know.
it just don't work that way.
I know. It really doesn't.
Sorry.
It really doesn't work that way at all. Also, there's a bioethicist activist in Toronto, Canada, scolding people for gendering animals. And people on social media erupted with some ridicule and disbelief, which is great. Gendering animals serves to normalize bioessentialist conceptions of gender. Yeah, that's what I've been saying.
Blah, blah, gobbledygook,
How
blah.
many times have you heard me say, well, you know what you're doing there?
What's
By
that?
gendering an animal, you're normalizing bioessentialist conceptions of gender. That's what you're doing.
Don't be normalizing
douche.
bioessential
Stop it.
concepts.
When we gender animals, we forget that sex is assigned. We begin to believe that sex is literally in the body. Yeah, and that's a bad thing because
Where are the aliens?
I don't know.
Where are the aliens?
Bioessentialism is the belief that biology determines specific attributes and traits, including those related to gender identity. Transgender activists claim that bioessentialism is a fallacy and leads to transphobia and gender-based exclusion.
Good times. Right?
I believe that there is trans species identity problems. The cows that I eat identify as plants, and that's why I'm a completely vegetarian now.
All right.
Yeah,
Look at you.
yeah.
You found the way.
Because the cows identify, and so do the pigs, they all identify as plant life. And so they're vegetables.
I see that. They good
They're
job with
vegetables
that.
now. And so I'm completely not a meat eater anymore because they identify differently.
Wow,
And
you
can't-
did it.
Yeah, I did it. I've become a total vegetarian
Because you've been
now.
on the fence, you know. But
I have.
But you've
I've been mostly vegetarian
Right.
for a really long time, but now I'm completely
I'm proud of you.
vegetarian.
Because I know that wasn't
Thank you.
easy.
No, it was not an easy transition to make,
But you found a
but I found a way to do it.
loophole.
This bioethicist says my cat was assigned female at birth, but oh wait, is this a?
This is a joke.
This is one of the joke ones. This is a parody, right? My cat was assigned female at birth, but I refused to gender it and allowed it to live gender-free. So
These are the responses to her.
Yeah.
She's not a parody.
somehow it still got pregnant after shagging about.
Now, we got to bring that word into the fold. That's a good one right there. Shagging.
That is funny. All right. 888-900-3393. More Pat Gray Unleashed coming up. Great to have you with us. 888-900-3393. And at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Independent Cat tweets, if only it was a hammer and sickle throwing competition.
I like it.
See what they did there.
I do see what they did there.
DMXDM. Next time I lose a competition, I'm going to whine about my race in such an outrageous way that everyone forgets about the winner because that's sports now.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really good point.
Yeah.
The gold and silver medal winners that are headed to Tokyo as first and second on Team USA, completely forgotten about. So I decided to look it up and see what the name of the person who won is. It looks like Deanna Price.
Okay. Good. So you should go to work today and you should say, hey.
How about that Deanna Price?
Yeah.
What a hammer thrower. And your coworkers will say, wait, what?
She the one that hates America?
She threw a hammer at somebody?
No.
No. It's a different kind of thing. Had to explain this to Glenn yesterday. It's not. He thought the hammer throw was an actual hammer that was thrown. He's like, what kind of competition is that? It's not like a ball at the end of a cord or wire kind of thing. Twirl it around, and then you release it at just the right time.
That just has Malinac labrum tear written all over it.
Oh, it does, yeah. Yeah, you'd probably wrap that thing right around your head, and it'd smash into your skull. You'd be a vegetable, even more than you are right now.
Wow. Oh, I thought we were just going to stop with the violent imagery. No, we went for the...
had to go all the way.
No, that was good.
Yeah,
that was
all
funny
the way
stuff
to the
there.
well. So, yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
I mean, everything you just said was accurate anyhow. That would be must-see TV.
Yeah.
I mean, tune in for the chick that's going to turn her back on the American flag. Stay for the dude that's going to crush his skull.
So, apparently, Deanna Price broke multiple records in her final hammer throw, too. So, I mean, all of this completely thrown out
Ignored,
the
window
because of this wonderful Gwen What's-Her-Face from Black Lives Matter. It's pathetic. It's wrong. And I really hate what's going on. She needed only one good throw to make her second Olympic team. She was the 2019 hammer throw world champion. From the United States? No. Is that possible? Is that we don't have good hammer throwers.
Right.
Especially good women hammer throwers. Those are usually, they used to be East Germans.
I was about to say, I think there was a void after the Berlin Wall fell and East Germany left that void.
Wow.
Here's a question. How do you realize you have that talent? Like, you're going to be a great hammer thrower. You don't just grow up in your backyard and start slinging stuff. Maybe you do. Maybe your dad is out there, taking a smoke break and sees how far you threw Fluffy across the yard like that and thought,
yeah,
I got to find a track and field coach for that girl. I mean, that's...
I don't know.
How do you discover that talent? Yeah.
Yeah, it's not something there's not a lot of hammers laying around that we're talking about here. Obviously, there's hammers that, hammer nails. But there's not a lot of hammers that you throw laying around and you just pick it up and start doing it.
It's not like baseball. It's like you grab a stick and a little rock, and start hitting stuff. Mm-hmm. Do you build a hammer thingy in your basement? How do you...
In your basement? I'm not... No. I don't... Unless you got a really, really big basement.
Yeah, well, and it's got a cast iron thing or whatever.
And a really high ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're going to need some different kind of dimensions to your basement.
No, I meant to build it, silly.
Oh, okay.
You're going to throw it in the backyard.
Oh, all right. Okay. Yeah. So let me tell you about the second place person, too. There's Deanna Price won the competition. And Brooke Anderson finished second. Gwen Berry was way behind the two of them. So... Excellent. Hopefully, she won't make it to the podium in the Olympic Games.
Seriously.
We got this from Toothpaste Words. Richmond, Missouri's Walmart has charging stations because I used to work in that town of 3,000. I went to that Walmart. Never are the charging stations used. Rural towns don't use them. That's probably true. But as a rule, I bet that's true.
Seriously. But here we go. Your tax dollars at work.
Yeah, $500,000.
So you want to pay for it at the pump, and you get to pay for the charging stations.
I mean, that's like 4 times as many gas stations for electric vehicles. Wow, really? Okay. We got one more little
She's fun. This lady.
Fun. That's a good word for her. Fun girl to play. Talking about her pronouns. Pronouns are so important right now.
Yeah.
There's nothing more important in the world than what kind of pronoun you prefer.
Yeah, what you're about to witness is a mental disorder.
Here she is.
Yes. Funny enough, the original video that went low-key viral, the intention was to describe or explain what we us means.
Okay, she's
because I
us.
utilized she, they, we, us.
She, they, we, us.
Did not
She, they, we,
specifically
us.
specify that in the video because I do talk about how I've been identifying
She
less
keeps saying I.
with she, her, hers, and with they, them.
Uh-huh.
I still utilize whatever the speaker, whoever's speaking to me, feels comfortable with. We, us is new. And the way I have perceived it, and the way I've talked to my mom about it, some of my friends about
Why
it.
does she keep saying
is
I?
I don't know.
Physically, we are separated in these physical vessels, but
'Cause it's
energetically,
we, us,
our souls
right?
are all intrinsically connected and intertwined.
Mm-hmm.
So, we, us,
We,
when,
us.
when
Right.
utilized for myself,
That's right. Okay.
it just makes
Myself?
myself feel so connected to everything and very validated.
Oh, good. Because I want you to feel connected and validated. I really do. We, us is because we're all connected, right, through like some cosmic thing. And so it's we, us is how she wants to be referred to. That's good.
Oh, no. No. And she said myself. She said I, tons.
A bunch of times.
And there was another life form, actually, in that video. You'll see crossing behind her was her dog, right? Mm-hmm. The dog was the smarter of the two creatures in that video. Mm-hmm. That girl is
out to lunch. And she's not coming back for dinner.
There's something
She's out
loose.
with, she and the president of the United States are both out to lunch right now. And they're not coming home for dinner. So
wow. So
Yeah.
I'm not the only one that eats lunch
I don't
this
know if
early.
they're together or if they just both left separately and they're eating separately, but they're not coming back. So
That's
that's craziness.
that's tragic.
I was just wondering if these kinds of things had been popular in the 80s and 90s, like this kind of social media, and we would have had all these videos from people that we didn't have in the 80s and 90s. Would things have been this weird in the 80s and 90s? Is it that social media just shows us the freaks, or are there more of them? I wonder. I wonder if it's worse than it was, or we just see it all now.
This is an interesting point because, like, I don't want to spend forever talking about this, but like if you read history, I mean, bad things have happened forever.
Yeah, they
In
have.
fact, right now, my kids and I are, we're reading about the Boston police riots. Coolidge was the governor in Massachusetts at the time, and in the way they describe what was happening in the city sounds like Minneapolis a year ago. And so you read that and you're like, oh, okay, well then.
It's happened before.
We've been here before. And it talks about, carrying stuff out of the shops and looting and all this stuff.
Really?
And you're like,
Huh.
Okay.
Okay,
The
so-
1919 Boston police went on strike and the town was set on fire.
So we've been down this fun road
We can
before.
do this.
We can
do this, America.
Now that does kind of give you hope, doesn't it?
So to
And
your
it's happened
point,
before.
it's like, do we just not know about these
Yeah.
freaks and
And
now they're in our face?
I do think that's what it is. And now they just have this path. They have this forum now, and they can share their weirdness with everybody. And so they
let's
do.
use brain
Every
cells
day.
before we post things on the internet.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks.
But
you
I
bet,
think
Pumpkin.
in addition to we just see them now, is that politicians, they encourage this behavior. They empower it. They create
do.
a safe space for it to nurture. And because, every town had someone, a cross-dresser, right? That you would see here and there.
Yes.
And you'd be like, oh, there's Fred wearing a dress. Okay, well, now Fred's got special protections codified into law that
Yeah.
you can't even look at him crossways.
And he reads to the 3 and
Thank
4-year-olds
you.
at the library every weekend.
So while I think it's a case of they're just in our face more, I think it's the fact that behavior is nurtured.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. So it's a little bit of both. Yeah. I mean, things are weirder, but we do also see the weirdos who existed before, but we just see them all now.
And it didn't used to be illegal to call them weirdos.
Right. Jeez. Did you see in Canada, speaking of that, the hate speech thing, where they're going to fine you $16,000 for hate speech online? And they determine what hate speech is.
This is that thing they passed in the middle of the night last week.
Yeah. And it can go up to, I think it was $50,000 if it's bad hate speech. What?
Canada.
You don't have freedom of speech at all anymore in Canada.
Yeah. And I don't know if this is where you want to play the update that of the pastor up there in Canada.
Oh, yeah, let's do.
Okay, I tell you.
Here's the update on the pastor that was arrested.
From Canada, guys, and it's breaking, so here it is. So Pastor Archer was just found guilty today for contempt of court for hosting worship services. This is June 28th, Monday, 2021. He was found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of contempt of two separate court orders during a brief virtual court appearance today. The first guilty verdict was regarding Justice John Rook's May 6th court order, which never even named Pastor Archer or his church, and that one named the Whistle Stop Cafe and Chris Scott and prohibited illegal public gatherings. The second contempt conviction related to Justice David Gates' court order. That order was sought out in secret without the knowledge of Pastor Archer's lawyers on April 23rd and improperly served to Pastor Archer on April 24th. So 1 month from now, July 27th, the court will hear arguments from the AHS on sanctions against the Pawlowskis, which may include a term of imprisonment. You can help pay the legal fees of Pastor Archer by making a donation to the Democracy Fund.
Didn't even tell them.
All done through Rebel News. I never thought I'd have to say this, but let's fight back against religious persecution in Canada.
In Canada.
Wow. How could you have never thought that in Canada? It's been going on a long time in Canada.
Remember, that started about 20 years ago when they started saying your sermons couldn't have references to homosexuality in a negative way or something like that.
That's been a long time ago now. And they were getting you off the street if you were reading certain passages from the Bible. And the Bible, it was like you're right, the passages about homosexuality. You couldn't do it without being arrested. Unbelievable. That is unbelievable. The guy could actually do a prison term because he had a worship service? Did anybody even get COVID-19? Is there a single parishioner who came away with COVID-19 because they went to one of his services? Does that not matter? I mean, did he cause any harm whatsoever? As far as I know, he didn't.
Nowhere in this world do these lockdowns have public safety in mind. Nowhere.
No, that's right.
Can we please, since we're taking a tour of the world and the insanities of the COVID lockdowns and stuff, can we please play the French video from last night? Where some guy, I think he wins like a governorship or something, getting ready to go on. They're going to take a speech live. They don't realize that the news station has already switched to this live event. Nobody, as part of this guy's posse, has a mask on. And then watch what happens. All right, we're about to go on the air, y'all. Okay.
Nobody has a mask.
What? Oh, yeah, we got to do masks, y'all. Yeah, okay, you got a mask? I don't have a mask because I never wear one. Oh, I don't either. Here, pass one back.
They're actually handing them out because nobody has them.
You put a mask on. Yeah, you take that one.
That's amazing.
It's an act. It's always been an act, and it's going to continue to be an act if people continue to fall for this and continue to prolong this nightmare with their obedience. Stop. They're making fun of you, man.
Oh. Well, I will say, in Texas, we've kind of put a stop to it. Mostly. I mean, I don't see very many people wearing masks anywhere anymore. Do you? There's a few in grocery stores, and I think they're just people who are afraid. They've probably gotten really used to this, and now they're just going to wear it for the time being and whatever. If you want to do that, that's fine. But most people have just decided, okay, I'm done. I'm done.
See,
I'm either vaccinated or I'm not, but I'm done.
On Sunday, I will say that I went into a Walmart where the tide has turned from, 90-10. It flipped the other way, and then it was 90-10, no masks, okay? And now I went in on Sunday, and I think it's this Delta variant talking point taking hold, and now we're back to about 70-30 for no masks. And I was like, what? Come on, people. Then I went further out of town to another little town, and it's way out there, and nobody had a mask. The employees, because it's a national chain, this store, they had masks on their chins, every one of them. Because it was just like this company makes us wear a mask, but here, I'm wearing it.
If you don't have it over your mouth or nose,
and that's the kind of community this is the community it is, because nobody, and I'm talking, and I counted, there were about 24 people in this store. Nobody had a mask on because it's further out, where common sense still exists in some form. But you watch this Delta variant scare tactic bull crap from Fauci. They're pushing it, man. They're like, man, we're losing our grip. In fact, was it all of California or LA County just reinstated the mask ban or mask requirement there?
Way. Did they really?
So these municipalities, the further left they are going to start making these requirements again. We just started in LA.
Don't do it.
Here we go. It's going to be fun. And then you're going to get blamed for not getting the vaccine. No, you're the one. You're the reason we have to do this still, because you refuse to take the vaccine. And then this mutation of the virus. Oh, shut up, you.
CVS was doing they were doing the little test for the
PCR?
What is the thing that you have if you've had the
antibodies test?
Yeah, the antibodies test.
Yeah.
Jeez. So I went yesterday. I finally said, okay, I'm going to get that stupid test. And so I went to CVS. Yeah, we're not doing that anymore. They're doing that at the Minute Clinic about 3 miles from here. So I went 3 miles from there and went in to the Minute Clinic, and she's like, oh, it's 1:20 in the afternoon. I'm just going on my lunch break. I'll be back at 2:40. Is that okay? No, that's not okay. I'm not going to sit here for an hour and 20 minutes, but thank you. But I'll try again, maybe sometime this week. Welcome. Great to have you with us. 888-900-3393. We have barely scratched the surface of what we have for you today. It's kind of a sad day. Do you know that this is the next to last day of Pride Month?
Oh, no.
Yeah, our celebration ends tomorrow. Shoot. Why can't it be Pride Month all year? Why?
We can make it so.
Why? We can, and should, and let's do it. Let's do it.
I haven't worn my rainbow shirt yet this month either, so maybe I should get on
one more day to do it.
Yeah,
better do it tomorrow.
I just realized that our Wheel of Cancel.
Oh, it's kind of a
constantly celebrates
thing.
Pride Month.
Yeah,
year round.
All right. Got some tweets here. Joe McCullough tweets: is fit throwing an Olympic sport yet? USA is going to have a big team when it is. Jeffy's 18 Spoons tweets: pronoun girl can't even stick to the correct number of people when referring to itself.
Yeah,
she,
that's right.
them, they, we now should get some help, please. Yeah. Trump in Alabama tweets: 80s didn't have social media to reveal weirdness. We had MTV.
Thank you. Yes. Great call.
That's when MTV was music television. I don't know what it is now. Reality TV, sort of. I don't even know if they do videos anymore, do they?
I don't think so.
We were talking about this a couple of weeks ago. Were you here on that day? When we were talking about the last time we'd seen MTV, I bet it's been 20, 25 years.
Yeah, if Beavis and Butthead aren't on there, then there's no reason to turn it on. Right?
You were a Beavis and Butthead fan, weren't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Big time.
Mike Judge is a genius. He's a prophet. He's absolutely. Are you kidding me?
No.
I won't tell you to watch Idiocracy, but I'm just telling you there's plenty of examples of King of the Hill. I mean, I could go on and on.
What, the Beavis and Butthead was a precursor to King of the Hill and all of that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like interspersed in all of his stuff are predictions that have come to pass.
Oh.
So you at least got to watch Office Space. But anyway. Whatever.
Okay. Let's go to Julie in Tennessee. Julie, you're on the Blaze. Hi.
Hey, good morning, you
morning.
two. Yesterday, I received a call from my son. He's out in the Atlantic, an undisclosed location on an aircraft carrier. And they're coming in today to Norfolk. And he told me that he's going to be forced to either take the vaccine if he wants to go into ports when they go on a deployment at the end of the year. Otherwise, he'll be trapped on the ship for the full deployment. Right now, they're on a shakedown cruise. And, this is wrong.
It is.
And, between the CTR, I'm going to start sounding like Biden right now. The CRT that's being shoved down their throats, because he's talked to me about this. And this forced, it's your choice. Yeah, sure, it's your choice. You either stay on board ship while everyone else is, in port all over the Mediterranean and other locations, or you join us and become one with us, and then you can have fun. I'm right now shaking. I'm so angry right now.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I don't know where to go with this. I did contact Senator Cotton and Dan Crenshaw, but people need to know what's happening. This is how their morale is bad. There's some other things he told me I got to verify, but there's other things happening. And Austin's going to be there today, apparently in Norfolk. But so this is just great. This is how they're destroying from within our services. And my son did not sound like my son yesterday. It's very alarming. And he's supposed to talk to me when he gets on land. But I'm not a happy person, but about all this, and they're destroying these young men and women's health, mentally and physically.
Appreciate that. Thanks for the call, Julie. Yeah, it's outrageous what's going on in the military with the CRT, and now, and that's the first I've heard about them forcing sailors into getting vaccinated. That's despicable.
Yeah, you got to get your shots before you get enlisted, but that's going in. This is something that they're adding later, it sounds like, and that is horrific. And there's reason for concern. I mean, we have the death chart of what vaccines...
Show that, in fact. Show the death chart. This is from the VAERS, the vaccine...
This is where you report.
Yes. This is where you report all the things that are going wrong with the vaccine to the CDC. This is the CDC website.
Right. And so these are deaths that have been attributed to vaccines. Some people have negative reactions. You can see it's below 500 every year until now. And look at that spike.
And look at just about straight up to 6,000 now?
Yeah. So that's,
wow.
That's probably because that's all vaccines, So I'm sure.
So maybe 500 of those are some other vaccine.
So I'm sure that all 6,000 are probably from getting your measles shot or something.
Yeah, that's the thing. Not many people died from the measles shot, or the mumps shot, or rubella, or any of those things that we've been vaccinated for over the years. Polio.
Tetanus.
Yeah, all of that stuff.
I have plenty of instances where I've needed tetanus injected into me. But you have every right to be concerned for your son, and he has every right to avoid that shot. I would stay on the ship until my term's up, and then I'm out. Bye-bye.
Man.
And
that's hard, though. It'd be really hard. Ron in Indiana, you're on the Blaze. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Doing good.
Love your show.
Thank you.
Listen, what I want to try to bring up, and I've been on Russia's show, God bless them, and Hannity and Laura Ingraham, and you about name them, I've hit about all of them, and I'm lucky to get you first time. But what I'm saying is there's only three things that we need done here in this country, and I mean done right now. And then throw it back to the states, because I don't argue about this constitutional crap. States are the ones that owns everything anyway. What I'm saying is, the first thing is you need term limits.
Yes.
Listen to me. If you, county sheriff and the president of the United States, the two most influential, law enforcement guys you're ever going to know, they got term limits. Nobody else.
Yeah.
Now, what do we do when we blow up a bunch of countries, put it all back together? What do we help instill in them? About every one of them's done it. A flat tax, a consumption tax, where IBM, Hewlett Packard, we all pay the same right off the bat. When you buy it, you pay it.
Yeah.
That's all confusion done.
That.
There goes your IRS. All that crap's done. No patronage. Now, the third thing is tort reform. How you do that is just like England did about, I think, 40, 50 years ago. Loser pay clause. You get stalled by coffee and you lose that seat, you pay the cost on all of it. And look at their court systems. And they get stuff done, be quick right through there if they want to. But that's my thoughts for today. And, there's only three things that I know that instantly right now, because I'm quite a historical buff. You guys ever want to call me back, I'll tell you a day and date on anything you can ask me. But I'm telling you right now, this is the most important time that we're ever going to have.
No, I think you're right. Appreciate it. Thanks.
No, I want to test you on your dates. Battle of Tours.
12/17, I believe.
Nah, we'll talk later.
Thanks, Ron. What year was it?
It was October 10th, 732.
Oh, he's close.
Charles Martel.
He's only 500 years off.
The most underrated, the guy who saved Western civilization. Okay. Charles Martel, the hammer.
Yeah, I've said that I don't know how many times.
Well, you should say it because it's true.
I know. I'll say it again.
Say it again.
He was important.
Charles Martel stopped the Islamic invasion of Europe.
Yes, that's what I was...
And that's why we have... that's why...
Exactly.
Never mind.
Exactly. What you just said. What you said and what Ron said.
10/10/732, most important date in history.
Term limits. I've said this for many years. Term limits, and to me, the other thing that we need to do is get our Congress out of Washington, D.C. and make them legislate from their own home district where they're subject to their constituents, where their constituents can get in there and tell them what they expect of them, what they demand of them. You work for me. You don't work for some lobbyist on K Street. You work for me. If we could get them out of D.C. and make them stay in their home district, and maybe they go to D.C. once or twice a year and get together. But other than that, you don't need to get together every day anymore. You can do that on the internet. We've just seen that in the pandemic. They don't have to stick them all in the same beautiful marbled building. They don't have to. Just do it right from your own district.
But what about the really good politician, Pat? I mean, we've got some really good politicians. We don't want to lose them. That's what the argument is. See, but I love this right here. Somebody put there's a chart on the internet, and they're like, in most instances, like this is the police, mostly good cops, right?
Yeah.
And then there's a few bad ones. There's your neighbors, mostly good neighbors, and there's a few bad ones, and then whatever this is. Politicians, it's the complete opposite. We have just a few good ones,
That's really
but
true.
most of them are terrible. The complete opposite of the rest of society.
So true. And I'm willing to lose a few good ones to get rid of the bad ones. It's time. It's time now. Carrie in Pennsylvania, you're on the Blaze. Hi.
Hi. I just calling because I live rurally, and I heard you this morning saying about the electric charging stations, and I had to laugh. Electric cars, maybe your Vespas, and you can be very European, and you can putz around. We travel 2 hours to Pittsburgh 2 or 3 times a week. A lot of people around here do. That's just what you do. That does not mean I want an overnight visit while my car charges. It makes no sense. Rurally, it would be the last place. An electric car.
Absolutely. Thanks, Carrie. Appreciate it. They're just not practical yet. To me, they're just not practical. I mean, if you're fine going to and from work every day, and that's all you want to do with your electric car, they're probably fine. But if you want to take that car and you want to drive 500 miles with it, well, now you're talking about, okay, I got to find a charging station somewhere. I don't know where there's charging stations. And I guess Tesla will show you, but I don't want to hassle with that. I want to be able to go 400 or 500 miles on a tank. That's what I want to do. And when they can do that, then you're onto something, right? Then, and there's no reason. Why can't you? Why can't you go 500 miles on an electric charge?
So doesn't the left constantly rail? And I would say rightfully so, all the subsidies that gas and oil companies get, right? Like, oh, what are you doing? You can't be giving money to big oil. Well, aren't you subsidizing the electric car community with your stupid taxpayer-funded chargers all over the country that you're planning?
Well, yeah. But also, they talk about the subsidies for gas and oil. Gas and oil are subsidized at 1/25th the rate of solar and wind.
How about we don't subsidize anything?
Yeah, that would be nice. That's not going to happen, but that would be nice.
Yeah.
888-900-3393. More Pat Gray Unleashed coming up. Yeah!
Pat Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
It's true. She's not lying about that. It's true. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. How long's it been since we've heard from Al Gore?
Not long enough.
It's been too long for my estimation.
Okay.
And he was just asked if he had a message for Donald Trump.
Oh, no.
Why would anybody care? But somebody apparently did, and they asked him about it.
Well, I'm not sure that whatever I say to him would have any impact whatsoever.
No, you're right.
Then we're done here.
But
Thanks,
just
bye.
on the off chance that it would,
shoot.
I would say, please do the right thing. Acknowledge reality. Stop hurting this country. Stop undermining democracy. Honor the great and honorable traditions of the United States of America. This cannot go on the way it is now. I will point out, Pamela, that it's kind of a sideshow, and people are turning off to it now. I really think they're beginning to. And Joe Biden's popularity continues to rise. Look at what he's done in controlling the pandemic.
Look at
what he's done in facilitating the incredible economic resurgence with a very strong climate plan. Going overseas and really bringing the respect of the United States back up again after it's sunk to a historic low during the previous 4 years for reasons we all understand. I think he is really doing an outstanding job. He's got a tough hand to play, but he's playing it with great skill.
No one I'm president.
Yes, no one has ever said that Joe Biden's playing this with great skill.
He has done an outstanding job destroying this country. He really has. Look at the economy where inflation is out of control, and like no other clip since the 1990s. Look at how the fact is the other countries in the G7 were laughing in our face because we've got a senile old coot.
That wasn't respect.
Wow. I mean, that's unbelievable. I guess he also had a message for Republicans. Can't wait to hear what that was.
Here we go.
You know, Pamela, the refusal of the former president to acknowledge that he lost by 7 million votes. It wasn't close, for God's sake.
It wasn't close.
And apparently a majority of his party is still so enthralled to him that they still believe that the American people did not make the judgment that they clearly made. This is very damaging to our democracy. I'm hoping
we don't have
that
a democracy, Al.
will fade
That's
over
why it's damaging.
time. But we keep getting this nonsense, like this foolish exercise to bring in some cyber ninja group in Arizona to look for bamboo in the ballots there. It's absolutely nuts. We hear about AI standing for artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
They're putting another kind of AI out, artificial insanity. They're putting out messages that create an
Where's the crowd?
reality.
They love that one.
And
That's
people
really
get into
good,
these echo chambers on the internet, and it's all they hear, and they begin to believe the alternate reality. We've got to follow the rule of reason and honor American democracy and acknowledge the will of the American people.
We don't have American democracy. There is no such thing as American democracy.
You've heard of AI, right? It stands for artificial intelligence.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what they're doing is they're promoting artificial insanity.
Wow, that's really clever, Al.
Please clap.
That's really clever.
I thought it stood for Al the Idiot. Is that not what AI stands for?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Oh my, that was... Don't set yourself up for a punchline like that, because that was tragically bad.
He's betrayed our country. He played on our fears. That's what happened.
Where was he speaking anyway? Like in a cave? Look at this.
I don't know where
this
he
is like a cultish lighting set here.
Yeah,
that weird horizon back there. The light underneath him shining up in his face. It's like, what's that guy's name? Marshall Applewhite or whatever. The cult leader. Put on your sneakers and let's all die together. Mm-hmm. Like, this is kind of stuff, the kind of video you'd see from that guy.
And apparently he's at the Hill. That's a weird setting for them. That's really weird.
No, I don't. I think
that's what it says. At the Hill. Isn't that where he is? That's not where the interview took place?
That's just the account when it says at the Hill. Like, I don't know that maybe they are the ones. I have no idea. So maybe they are the ones that did this. But
I don't know. But
I don't know where this forum is. But Al Gore sucks. That I do know.
Oh my gosh! You just when you think, okay, you know what? Al Gore wasn't as bad as. Yeah, he was. Oh, and he is. He's just as bad as this current crop.
537 votes in Florida kept that man out of the Oval Office.
Oh, can you imagine
when
what
terrorists struck?
Disaster that would have been. What a disaster. As you know, and I've got some issues with George W. Bush, but please, between the two of them, there's no question. There is no question. Al Gore would have driven this country into the ground long before Joe Biden is doing the same thing. So at least we dodged a bullet for a while, got through the Obama years, and then President Trump was able to remove some of the stumbling blocks they put in front of this country.
That was our reprieve.
Got a little reprieve there for 4 years, and now they're trying to finish the fundamental transformation of America, and they're doing a really good job of it.
Boy, I want to know how much stock someone like an Al Gore would have in 500,000 charging stations nationwide.
Oh, can you imagine? Well, the guy is a climate billionaire. Everybody knows it. He's made a fortune off of the climate disaster that he talks about all the time. He's made a fortune.
And selling his network, right, to an oil-rich nation.
He made $250 million just in that transaction. $250 million from Al Jazeera. And that is run by, we were trying to figure this out a while ago, too. What country are they based in? Is it Qatar?
Yeah, I think
so. Is that what it is? I think it is. Or
because it was Current TV that he had, right?
Yeah, he sold Current to Al Jazeera, right?
Yeah.
And that wasn't a problem, though, because he sold it to an oil company.
Yeah, you got all that right. Qatar owns Al Jazeera. Okay. Al Jazeera bought Current TV's access. Yeah.
Unbelievable. And why was that worth? I think the total price was $500 million, right? Yeah, it was $500 million, and from that, Al, I think, went home with $250 million of it.
And then he'd spend it all on just, protecting the environment, of course.
Oh,
I'm sure he didn't.
Of course.
There were no chakra releases or anything like that were funded with that cash. It was all noble projects to save, like, sand cranes and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you remember when, at the beginning of the Fox News situation with Glenn, everybody was yelling and screaming about how he promoted gold. He's promoting gold so they can benefit and make money off of gold. And then when Al Gore made money off of his investments in climate companies, in climate offsets and all of that garbage that he was trying to sell, well, of course I invest in what I believe in. Oh, okay. So that's what you're doing. I see. Okay. Glenn is exploiting the people because he's talking about gold on the air, which is something he definitely believes in. But Al Gore is just investing in the things he believes in. It's no problem. There's nothing wrong, nothing to see here. Move along, everybody. Move along.
I think in retrospect, he's probably happy that he didn't win the presidency, because look at how much money he made during that exact time that he would have been in office.
That would have hampered his wallet, that's for sure. But, everybody turns the presidency into a huge moneymaker eventually. Look at the Obamas. Jeez, they are filthy rich.
Oh, they're so good, though. I mean, right? Their show, don't they have like a TV show and a podcast? And
Yeah.
I mean,
some documentaries.
Yeah, don't poo-poo that. That's good stuff the Obamas are doing, man.
I couldn't tell you because I couldn't watch any of those things.
No. Clips are enough.
Yeah. 888-900-3393. More Pat Gray Unleashed coming up. Great to have you with us. Thanks for being here. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter, where Joe Blob tweets, that poor soldier on the aircraft carrier. We've always tested on the military first since they're government property. It's very sad to make examples of our folks serving. For Maxis Tech, come on, Pat. Electric cars work great on the golf course, which is likely the only experience the politicians who push them have had. Yeah, as long as it can make it 18 holes, right? That's fine. It doesn't have to go 400 miles. Rowdy Introvert tweets, I always thought of Al Gore as a fool, even when he remains silent. But now that he's spoken, I have no doubts. Yeah, he clears that up every time. Every time he speaks. Rants Out Loud tweets, the environmentalist televangelist Al Gore chastising someone who disputes election results as a threat to our democracy. It's pretty rich. Too bad we're a constitutional republic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and plus Al Gore challenged the election results of his own.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, he sure did.
But no, that's a great point.
He sure did.
We're a constitutional republic, not a democracy. Thank you for that reminder.
But there is method to their madness. This is their code word for the socialists. We're trying. We're bringing it. We're bringing it home to socialism. This is how we're going to do it with the democratic socialism. Pat had sent this crash course over to us. The democracy versus constitutional republic in a nutshell.
Oh, nice.
Democracy. In a democracy, the majority rules. If the majority decided they wanted your bike, they could take it. In a republic, your bike is your property, and you do not owe it to anyone. It cannot be taken against your will by law. America is a constitutional republic. Therefore, the Constitution is the law by which we're supposed to be protected. In a republic, the individual is protected from the majority by constitutional law. A constitutional republic is what we were given. It's up to us to keep it.
Love it.
That's exactly
we
right.
will retweet that out because I know you'll want to spread that around, y'all. Look for
stuff.
it at Pat Unleashed on Twitter.
And that's why, the democracy versus republic thing, it's worth the fight.
Yeah.
I know it sounds nitpicky.
Mm-mm.
I used to think it was nitpicky.
Right.
But it's not. It's important. It's important that we make that distinction. Hey, Kamala went to the border finally on Friday.
Oh, right. She made it.
And we didn't get to this yesterday, so I thought we'd share it with you now because she went to El Paso. And she finally arrived for her long-awaited border visit, and here's what she had to say.
How did you decide that right now was the right time to make your first trip to the border?
Well, it's not my first trip. I've been to the border many times. It's not my first trip. I know it. So, the important aspect of this visit is leading this visit after the work that we did in Guatemala and Mexico. Because as I've long said, I said back in March I was going to come to the border, so this is not a new plan. But the reality of it is that we have to deal with causes and we have to deal with the effects. So being in Guatemala, being in Mexico, talking with Mexico as a partner, frankly, on the issue, was about addressing the causes. And then coming to the border at the advice and actually the invitation of the Congresswoman is about looking at the effects of what we have seen happening in Central America. And so I'm glad to be here. It was always the plan to come here.
It was always
and I think
the
we're going to
plan.
have a good and productive day.
Sure. It was always the plan since Donald Trump said he was going to the border. That's what it really became the plan. That's what really fired them up and thought, okay, we got to get to the border right now because we got to go before he does. And that's what they did. Wow. That's what they did. He arrives, is it this week? Is he going to the border this week? Later this week, I think.
I forget what day, yeah. Soon.
And so she had to throw this together really quickly and get there before Donald Trump did. Pathetic. I mean, they're so transparent.
Mm-hmm.
It's so pathetic. It's
Now,
such
I've been to the
liars.
borders, okay? Don't tell me it's for my first time. As vice president. Don't
right.
Nice.
So ridiculous.
What was it, Corby, who said yesterday? Well, now she can go to Europe.
Yeah.
Because when she was asked that, well, I haven't been to Europe either. Who's worse? Don't answer that. It's a toss-up. Yeah. Biden, Kamala, Jen Psaki.
Al Gore. Yeah, throw them all. Barack Obama. They're all equally evil and in on this plan to just destroy our country. Here she is assessing. Here's her big assessment.
So she toured the border.
Yeah, and then she goes home and she has this to say. Well, I guess she's in El Paso. Yeah. So she's not exactly right at the border, but she's in El Paso.
She's not even at the right part of the border.
Yeah, I know. You show that again, yeah. where she was in El Paso, and then where the real problems are.
Nice job, John Cornyn's office.
Not a problem. Good.
1,000 miles from where she should be.
That's great. Okay, so here's her assessment of the border.
Oh, good.
Our administration, it is important to be clear, is working to build a fair and a functional and a humane immigration system. We feel very strongly about that. And as you know, we inherited a tough situation. In fact, right here in El Paso was the launch of the child separation policy. You saw it as it rolled out on the ground in real time. We have looked at a system where people have been housed in inhumane conditions over the last many years.
You did it.
An asylum system that has been broken and that needs to be reconstructed. And in 5 months, we've made progress, but there's still much more work to be done. But we've made progress.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of work to be done. You're right about that.
She inherited. That's what you heard all during Obama. That's what you hear all during Biden now. They inherited a big problem. No, the border situation was a lot better than it is now. He left them a much better situation than they have created. They made it 1,000 times worse. And they're the ones who, once again, stuck kids into these little cages that they yelled about during the Trump years. I mean, that is unbelievable. The way they just ignore reality and just stick with their talking points. It's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Lying sacks.
Oh, future bingo square.
Man.
Lying sacks.
Yeah, that's got to be one.
Got to be, right?
New Harvard poll, 80% see the border as a disaster.
Yeah, these are some interesting polling graphs that we have here.
And want Trump closure restored and reject critical race theory.
Okay, so let's break these down. What's the first one say there? What do we got? We got how serious of an issue do you think illegal immigration is for the country right now? Majority says very serious or somewhat serious. Look at that, like 80%, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
You think the number of monthly border crossings by illegal immigrants has increased, decreased, or stayed about the same since President Biden took office?
Increased 63%.
You would be right.
Decreased 17. Okay. Stayed the same 19. Hasn't stayed the same. Come on, it's increased. 63% of Americans know that her line was a bunch of bull crap. Where she said they inherited this problem. No, they've made it much worse. And everybody knows it. Well, 63% of us know it. Let's see. Also, voters rate Kamala Harris's performance on immigration as poor, and they're split on whether the Central American trip made any progress. Please, it didn't make it. How can you be split on that? Do you think Vice President Kamala Harris has done a good job, adequate job, or bad job tackling the root causes of illegal immigration? Good. Good job, 30%. Bad job, 44%. And adequate, 26%.
Adequate or good is the majority, 56-44?
That's hard to believe.
Oh, gosh, but you just got done saying, 80% just got done saying they're at the borders. Okay.
Worse.
Okay, what's next?
Did Vice President Kamala Harris make meaningful progress, same progress, or no progress in tackling the root cause of illegal immigration in a recent trip to Central America? Meaningful, 21. Some, 24. No progress, 40, and unsure. No, I don't know. I don't know. 16%.
16%.
I don't know. Okay. I wish I did, but I don't know. I don't know how you can not know, frankly. I really don't. A majority of voters oppose teaching structural racism in elementary schools. Do you believe that kids in elementary school should be taught that America is structurally racist and is dominated by white supremacy? Or should they not be taught this? Should be taught? 39%. Should not be taught? 61%.
That should be 98-2, but I'll take 61.
It should, but I will, in this environment where they've got all of the media on their side, except Fox News and talk radio, 61%, I'll take that. That's pretty good. That's pretty good under the circumstances. Wow. How are they pushing this agenda through despite the fact that the American people overwhelmingly don't want it?
Well, that's what Marxist regimes do.
They sure do. They sure
Power
do.
ahead.
Yep. Also, crime rates are soaring. We know that.
Not in Joe Biden's America.
Yeah, in Joe Biden's America. They're soaring by a lot. They were showing some stats on New York City, parts of Manhattan yesterday on Fox News. Crime in some categories is up by 800%.
Wow. When you and Jeffy reminisce about the good old days of walking through Manhattan, I want you to remember these crime stats, okay? Because the place is a hole, and it's even more so now.
Yeah, I'm glad we weren't there for COVID. I will say that. Glad we were not there for COVID.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't mind being there again from time to time.
Okay, good. Yeah. What, you want to just
those were good times, Keith. Those were fun times. But the crime rates are soaring, and AOC has this to say about crime. Now, this is kind of surprising, I think, coming from her. You would think that she'd be like all over the crime rates, but here's what she had to say about it.
We are seeing these headlines about percentage increases. Now, I want to say that any amount of harm is unacceptable and too much. But I also want to make sure that this hysteria, that this doesn't drive a hysteria, and that we look at these numbers in context so that we can make responsible decisions about what to allocate in that context.
Okay, the murder rate's up about 900,000%, but let's not get hysterical about it, okay? Sure. 61 or 62 people are shot in Chicago over the weekend, just over the weekend. Let's not get hysterical about it.
Wait a minute.
Come on.
Pat, today's the day. Today's the day. I've got to start meditating because of this chick right here. She just said, don't get hysterical about all the murders that you are witnessing on social media and on the news. Don't get hysterical about these crime rates being up in some instances. Would you say 800, 900%? But yet this is the same chick who says we have an environmental crisis on our hands, and if we don't overhaul our economy by tenfold,
I love that
we're going to burn to death in 5 years?
It's 8. Don't be ridiculous.
Sorry, that was hysterical. I apologize.
Yeah, she says 8 years, okay? It started out as 10, but that was two years ago. Yeah, she's the one that has been saying climate change is killing this planet, and we only have 10 years to fix it 2 years ago. That's what she said. We have 10 years to fix it. Now we're down to 8 years to fix it. Or we're going to be, I guess, wiped off the face of the earth. There's going to be a vast extinction event. But don't get hysterical about the murder rate.
Don't tell me to calm down, lady. You calm down. Oh my God.
Gut check. Stop.
Go!
I know, it drives you out of your mind.
Can we get her out of office, please? Can we?
Please. She does have a challenger. Apparently,
what is this, Real Tina 40?
Yes, Real Tina 40. She says it's time to take out the trash in D.C. AOC, I'm coming for you and your seat.
Ooh, let's see this. This is going to be good. Tina Forte.
The DC swamp is knee-deep in garbage, and it's time someone takes out the trash. AOC, that means you. In just a little over 2 years in Congress, AOC made a name for herself at the expense of her constituents in the 14th Congressional District of New York. After living all my life in New York City, I've never been so embarrassed by someone as I am of AOC.
Yeah.
She went to Congress as a joke. It's the only thing that makes sense. AOC and her squad of commies are only good for one thing, and that's showing the American people how anti-American they really are. While Joe Biden is asleep, rampant socialists are running the country from within Congress. Democrats have converted to communists, and they are destroying America right in front of us. Just look at New York. The NYPD was defunded $1 billion in 2020, while our country was burnt to the ground. And I will call it out. During the violent 2020 BLM riots in New York City, you can be arrested for shopping at a department store because of a pandemic. But if you looted it and burnt it to the ground, that was okay. It was in the name of justice for George Floyd. It's time for a real patriot to go to Congress and defend the country from falling into real chaos. I'm Real Tina 40. I'm a mother. I am a grandmother. I am a small business owner, and I am unapologetically America first. And I am running for Congress in District 14 against AOC in New York.
In New York, over there. In New York. And I'm a New Yorker over there. Huh? You talking to me? I'm talking to you, AOC, over there.
I must get that debate between those two.
I love it.
Oh, we have to have this.
Oh, man.
It has to happen.
She is Mrs. Brooklyn, isn't she? That's good stuff.
So she's got to get through the Republican primary, I would imagine.
I would imagine.
So do it. Gosh, I want to see that. That's must-see TV.
Yeah, that's a great ad. And that is New York. New York. That's New York over there. Huh? You talking to me, huh?
I'm coming to take out the trash.
That's you, AOC. That's what I'm talking about.
You know that garbage disposal in your sink? Yeah, you learned about that, right? Yeah.
You need to be flushed down the garbage disposal over there. That's you, AOC, over there.
Take you out. That's
great.
Seriously, we need that debate. That's what the thought of those two on a debate stage together is what is going to give me energy for the next 24 months.
That's what you need, is somebody who doesn't care. I don't care what you think of it. I'm going to tell you the truth, and I'm going to come after you, and I'm going to tell it like it is, and that's what she's doing. So that would be great in the debate against AOC.
Make it so.
I bet you AOC wouldn't agree to a debate with her.
No.
You can't win that debate. You can't. No way. Yeah, we need good people. Then there's Kathy Barnette, who's a friend of Burgess Owens, who won in Utah, despite the fact that at one point he was behind by quite a bit.
Yeah, when they do those down to the wire vote counts, and it drags on and on, the Democrats always find a way to pull it out. It's amazing how they do that time and time again.
Isn't it? Although Burgess Owens pulled that one out.
Love it.
In Utah. That doesn't usually happen, but it did in his case. Anyway, he's got a friend. Kathy Barnette is running for Senate in Pennsylvania. And here's an intro to who she is.
In 1863, this was a battlefield where a clash for freedom was fought. The Emancipation Proclamation gave more than 3 million blacks their freedom. But in the decades that followed, people who looked like me could not fully integrate into the fabric of this nation. We couldn't even register to vote. Today, not only can I now vote without fear of violence, but I can run for office too. But there are still deeply personal and demeaning hurdles we must overcome. Because now the issue isn't just for someone who looks like me, but it's for people who think like me as well. People who think like me are being canceled, bullied, fired, threatened, and deplatformed. We're told that Black Lives Matter, except of course my Black life, because I'm a Black conservative. Radicals want to control and strip not just Black conservatives, but all conservatives of our identity, because we dare to think for ourselves.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
The white man that sits at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue believes he has the power to take away my blackness because I'm a conservative. but I will keep on. I will never let the words of another define me or determine my value. You can try to demean me or call me names for what I believe, but Joe Biden, after the November election in 2022, you can call me something else.
Yeah.
Senator.
I like it.
Because this determined, black, conservative woman is going to become the next United States Senator from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Hope so.
I'm Kathy Barnette, and I will not be bullied into silence. As
All right.
Americans.
That's great stuff. That's if I'm in Pennsylvania, I'm definitely voting for her. Definitely. I love that she called out Biden on his BS because not enough people do. Not enough people call him on his racism. And clearly, there is a ton of racism that spills out of that guy. And nobody ever says anything about it.
So that's Kathy Barnette running for Senate in Pennsylvania. Toomey's not running for re-election. And then don't forget Tina.
Wow, Toomey's done, huh?
Yeah, apparently so. And then Tina Forte running for AOC's seat, District 14 in New York. Good people. We got to start supporting them now so that they're strong and well-funded by next year.
Yeah, we got to get back that. We got to take back the House, and hopefully the Senate, since that's a Senate seat that's up for grabs.
Yeah.
And well, Toomey's already got it, so that won't help. But I mean, that can't lose it. That would be tragic.
I don't like the way the Senate sets up for Republicans in 2022, though. So there's so many seats to defend.
Yeah.
It doesn't look.
Yeah, doesn't look good.
Yeah. Unless you had, say, hypothetically, a really weak president who bumbles whenever he tries to speak a sentence, and screws up the economy and destroys jobs. And, if you had that as the head of the party that's in power, you might have a shot.
Really?
Yeah, you might.
Okay.
You might, but you need that.
Or you might not. 888-900-3393 and at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. I mean, got a billion different surveys that show that Americans are not on the side of these radicals with their CRT, with the critical race theory and all of that stuff. 61% of Americans don't want it jammed down the throats of their children. And why would they? Why would they want their white kids taught that they're terrible people and that they're racists? And why would they want their black kids thinking that the white kids are out to get them?
From the side that constantly preaches self-esteem in kids, all they're trying to do is destroy it if you're white. Leave the kids alone with CRT, with the COVID masks and the vaccine. Yeah. Back off the sexuality. Stop.
The transgenderism that's happening, and leave them alone.
Now I got Pink Floyd in my head.
Leave those kids alone?
Yeah.
Hey, teacher?
Yeah.
Leave those kids alone.
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
Another brick in the wall.
I hate that song, but thank you for putting it in my head for the day. Appreciate that. 2 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. It'll be the first thing I think when my eyes open.
If it happens, then I'll buy donuts.
Okay.
But you can't lie.
Yeah,
you got to prove it. So if you can prove it,
I guarantee you're going to be buying donuts tomorrow.
If he comes in here tomorrow and he starts singing that, I'm going to go get donuts for everybody.
Pat Gray, only on the Blaze Radio Network.